Welcome back to Humble Pie. I'm your host, Jimmy D, and I'm back again for today's Monday stream, this special stream, where I'm going to be doing some new things today. I've been talking to the Void for the last 10 minutes. I really appreciate Sai saying something. A little bit difficult when you don't have someone on the other side, and I probably should have something else to check to make sure you guys can hear me, but it would not be a Humble Pie stream if Twitch wasn't screwing my audio somehow, and I was just not getting through. So, let me start all over again. All right, first things first, I want to introduce something I'm going to start doing weekly with you guys. So a little side story, if you guys are in the Discord in our local meta, I finally found a venue for Orlando to host the Union Arena Regionals and the Gundam Regionals. Something I've been super excited to try to participate in. They stopped sales for all the tickets for everything, and they didn't know if there's going to be a venue. They didn't know it's going to continue. There's been this long case that you guys might not have been paying attention to of somebody apparently bought out the mall or wherever it was being hosted. And they said, okay, we're going to find a new venue, but stay tuned. We'll get you there. In Orlando, yes, in Orlando. It's supposed to be on the 6th to the 8th. It is on the 6th to the 8th. They announced they have a venue. They have it locked in. They updated their website and told everybody, hey, register here for December 6th. The sad part is I had no idea that the registration for this was in September. I want to attend things like this. I'd like to be a part of these things. But as long as Bondi, and this is something that's going to be a big topic for today's stream, Bondi keeps limiting the attendance for these tournaments, which is getting increasingly infuriating. Limiting the attendance. You're really stifling the capability of your own game. But because they sold out in seconds, which is a good thing if you want to see the health of your card game, that's great. Sold out in seconds and minutes. The bad thing is anybody else that finds out about, like when I do, it's on a wait list, and I'm not going to go down to Orlando on a wait list. I'm not going to risk hundreds of dollars, even combined with people, to go down to Orlando to hope that I get in on a wait list. That's just too much. And these regionals for Bondi games are just getting absolutely ridiculous. Guys, I'm so freaking tired of seeing all these tournaments with a cap on them for massive tournament play when they don't have to be. You're giving away money. Stop capping these events like this. If you have the player base that's going to be 5,000, 6,000 people, stop capping the event. You want to see how successful your game is? Stop it. I've been playing Magic. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I've been playing Pokemon. I've been playing all these other TCGs for years. And most of those tournaments, if ever, never capped it. They never put only this many people can attend. Because they expected they want to draw as many people as possible, and they could use those numbers to try and sell more product and get more of the stuff out there and celebrate their game. And these events are crazy good, crazy fun. You introduce artists, you bring in awesome sellers that are selling singles that you guys can do some trades and sales, and you could do some some back and forth on trading your favorite cards for some of the other cards. You can trade slabs for slabs. You can get cash for your slabs and then try to go through and get something else and invest in, get some cool product or whatnot. Those events are crazy good and crazy good for money, especially if you're a big company and you're not doing that. And I'm like, why? Why are you not doing the thing that makes all these other card games so fun? Like it took a little bit for them to come back after COVID for Magic the Gathering, but they're back now. They're doing big tournaments now. They got Star City organizing these massive events where you've got artists to go get signatures from. You got these panels to talk about some of the upcoming stuff. You got great giveaways and product exclusives for wherever the event might be held, and all these really cool things that really bring the player base in. You get 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people in a huge convention hall just spending money on your card game, and all those vendors that are sitting in there are paying you for the spot for the vending, so you get all this open space. But now we're in Bondi, and God, I love these games so much, don't get me wrong. Stop capping the tournaments. Stop it, please. I'm not gonna go down to Orlando on a wait list. I want to go down there so bad. I want to go down there and see if I can do well. That tournament could have been 8,000, 9,000 people for all we know. Gundam is a super popular game that and right now, guys, if you didn't know, we're in a TCG war type scenario right now. Absolutely. If you haven't been paying attention, TCG market is being flooded with new games, old games. The competition is insane right now. Buying for as many of the customer base you possibly can. Because there's a lot of people getting into this stuff in the TCG market. And honestly, It's to be expected. If I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, it's completely expected. You have the digital age coming through, trying to convince the masses that digital product is worth anything. We've had those was NFTs or whatever those were, trying to convince people that you invested in this digital piece of art, that this was somehow worth value of some sort. It's not. It's not. They tried to pull the wool over our eyes. They've tried to tell us that, oh, by having this meta universe and you can buy these houses for real money that are just digital crap that they could literally get rid of tomorrow. And all they got to do is turn off the server, or someone has to hack into it, and you lose everything. And it's worth real money. It's not. These video games that are selling you games that are like not even what you originally like, not even to the IP anymore. They're just off the wall, not following through with their customer base. That they're just trying to go for these cash grabs, or they're putting these little like gotcha games and gotcha mechanics and all these video games that are on games that have a shelf life of who knows, could be a year, could be 5 years, and all the money invested in that gotcha mechanic is just gone. As soon as they shut down the server, yep. Hey, you invested $80,000. Some people do $80,000 into this game. Gone. Thanks for your money. Have a good day. Thank you for this slightly fun and playable game that distracted me for a little bit. But we're getting more and more into this you don't own anything crap, and people are revolting against it. It's why I think Labubus are going up. I think those are honestly Labubus. I think legitimately are just another Beanie Babies type thing. I want to be careful with that, but you guys do you. If you like it, it's your thing. Have fun with it. But more and more people are moving towards owning your product, having something that you. At the end of the day, you can't take the game away from me. Right? You might be able to hurt it in a lot of ways by adding support, but you cannot take the game away from me. The game will always be in the game pieces that I have. I'll always have the decks. I can always play this at my own leisure, and I will always have these game pieces. Some cases you're going to get some value in it, but you can't take this away from me. I own this, and at the end of the day, these things can go for astronomical prices. If you guys know about my boring story about how I owned a alpha booster box of Magic the Gathering, and could have sold it for a house today. It was sadly stolen, but that's not here nor there. At the time, it was $75. It was like, or $60. It was like $60 box. They took my alpha box. I lost $60, and I was working a little part-time job to try and afford it. And sadly, the person took off with it, and I don't have it anymore. At the time, it didn't mean anything. Now, I could have afforded a house with that alpha box. That's if I would have kept it sealed, which, who knows? I mean, I'm getting pretty good at keeping things sealed, if you ask me. But these things do have value, and they can have some great value in it, and can be a decent investment, so long as you're willing to sit on it. I don't know about the quick turnarounds, quick stuff like that. That market's always been too crazy for me. I don't really go for it because there's too much FOMO. There's too much loss, too much uncertainty that just leads into what feels like bad stock and trade stuff, where you're getting those rug pulls or you're getting random stuff. That's why I don't buy in the first couple weeks when the set comes out. I don't get involved with a lot of the market that happens to be in the beginning, because it's just, as we've all said, I mean, the prices always drop once the product hits the market. It's the common theme for these card games. If you get on the initial start, you get out there and you start buying all the product, and you're like, hey, quick sell, this thing's going for $80, this is going for $80. If you don't find a buyer in the two weeks, that $80 card's $20. Easy, $20, done. And that's because the FOMO got to these people. That's why I don't participate in it. I don't agree with it. I like cards at a decent value, especially if the playable need to play cards. And everything else, like the mangas and the alts and the really cool stuff, that being expensive, that makes sense to me. I think Bandai is the only card game that's actually figured it out correctly. And it comes to ratios and how to make sure that the game pieces are cheap, but there are still chase cards to make it valuable. And Bandai just excels at it. So, all of that to say, let's go check out the current schedule, because every single video on Monday, I am going to be checking these websites to verify when events are happening, so you don't make the same mistake I did and miss an opportunity to register for offline regionals in your local area. This will get kind of repetitive, but I will be checking these every single week from here on out. Every Monday, you guys can come in and I will give you a 5-minute update to see if there's any new updates to regional qualifiers. Because I'm not going to fall for the same mistake and miss out on an offline regional championship like I did with this one. Next time, I will be prepared. I will be able to make this versus registration. But sadly, waitlist. And this thing sold out in minutes. And this is again why it's so infuriating that Bondi keeps putting caps on this. There's no reason to put caps on here. Get a big enough room to hold for 5,000 people and let anyone who wants to attend this thing. More people just means better competition, just means fun. I mean, you're already best of one. These tournaments are already ridiculously fast. Bro, throw this in a huge event. People come out to everywhere coming to these games. Sell your product. Open it up to vendors. This is probably by far one of the most infuriating things of Bondi. Like out there. Do you guys feel like there's anything else they're doing wrong outside of like me? The people they're using to organize these need some work, but thinking the problem is staff. I mean, yeah, they do need to get the staff out there. They need to finance for the staff out there. It's not hard. A lot of cities, every single one of these convention halls has a contractor. Some of you guys might not know this, but cities have contract work. They have like these union workers, and in every city, and all these things, you can hire these union workers to come out and support these things. If they're at a convention hall, they have a certain level of staff that they can get at that convention hall to support these things. They can do the basics of buy, sell goods, or make sure that you've got the metal detector and check for stuff and just verify that people are behaving the rules. No run in the halls type of stuff. But every single one of these cities has a union that you can work with to get the staff necessary to get there. Judge staff may be a little bit harder, but if you incentivize the judge staff a little bit better, you might be able to get those judges, because we've had some great judges, in my opinion, when it comes to Bondi. But personnel-wise, I feel like that's not a great answer, because I know for a fact that every single one of these cities has a union that has a group of people that they can call on any given weekend and have them help out and support in these functions. All these big convention halls have this. So what it comes down to is you have to be willing to put up the money for a convention hall. You're a big company, you can do it. And if you're saying, well, what if I lose money? That's what bringing in other vendors does. When you bring in artists who pay for a space and then give autographs and charge for autographs. You bring in outside vendors who want to sell singles to help people play in these tournaments, and then can buy singles from people and trade singles for people so they can participate in these tournaments and make money. But they pay for the space, so you save money by bringing in those vendors to sit in those spaces. And then they help with staff too, because they help you with organizing and selling stuff. And on top of that, you can get people to sell more than what you're willing to sell at the Bondi booth, which is never everything you have. It's only a sliver of what you have, where these guys can bring in the other stuff that you didn't have, like older boxes that maybe they've been holding on to, and stuff that people are looking to chase after. You could bring in, I love the Tony Chopper thing. That was great. You could bring in a lot of different things to kind of like sell the space and get your money back. You're a big multi-billion-dollar company. I think you can afford it. Brain Dead, good to see you. I honestly think you really need to, especially as we're going to keep talking about this. We're in TCG Wars, guys. They're all out there. Everyone's fighting for the spot to be number one. And I'm going to go over the best selling here in just a minute. Bondi, if you want to win this, and I want you to, because I still feel like you're the only one who's doing the pricing for the game pieces and the gotcha, the chase card mechanic right. You're the only one that has this formula actually figured out correctly. The game pieces are cheap enough to get people to enter. It's easy for people to pick up a box and play in the game, and you are giving away prizing that it has its own value outside of the game that people are chasing after, and it's got value to it. So keep that formula. Just open these regionals up to more people. Stop with the wait list and stop with we underestimated how much the demand was. You know how many people register in your event. You know where they're located. You could not be gaslighting people more. It is so infuriating to read that. You were in the information age. You have access to details that companies around the world would have killed for back in the day. to get demographics on how many people in what region play what game, do what, spend their money on. You have access to all of this information. We have sold our entire identities online for a simple acknowledgement and a cheap app. You have the technology. Stop telling me you don't know how many people are interested in your game. I'm not stupid. The people are not stupid. Print more. Open the tournaments up. That's all I'm saying. You are in the information age. You do not get to use the excuse of, I wasn't home, so I didn't pick up my dial-up. Only a few people are going to get that. We went from an age where I could literally just not answer my phone and use the excuse I wasn't home. You can't do that anymore. You have a cell phone. It's attached to you at all times. You can't get away from life. It's always on you. You don't get the excuse anymore. So you can't use, we didn't anticipate the amount of people that are interested in this product. You can't use it anymore. This isn't the 1980s. You don't have the luxury of saying we didn't have proper demographics. We didn't do surveys properly. We didn't have, that's our structure. Like as a local game store, that's our struggle bus. We're trying to figure out where's the player base? How many people do we have? If people are interested, are we advertising to them? Are we pulling them in the stop? That's our lane. That's our difficulty, not yours. You own an app and you ask for permission to take all my identity stuff so you can have all that information. Use it. And stop telling me after I had to give you all my information that you don't know I exist. Let's check out the best-selling card games. Sermon, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. Guys, that's not going to be the only soapbox I'm going to get today. You're going to see me go off on a lot of things right now. Most of my frustrations with some of the other card games. Every single card game I think right now has an issue. And if they're willing to overcome it, they can win the wars. At the moment, still at the best-selling, not necessarily the best performing, Magic the Gathering. So the top. You want alt art wild cards? That'd be crazy. Pokemon, of course, this one's still up in the hot top because there's a lot of collectors in the market. The game it's losing its player base, but it still has a great collector market to keep it very healthy. Yu-Gi-Oh! Still at number 3. This is this quarter, by the way. The quarter 3, 2025. This is the last remaining data from September. So this, obviously, quarter 4 is going to be Christmas sales. Those are going to make a big change with Christmas sales. We'll see where it happens. So the most recent data, One Piece number 4, love to see it. I think it deserves to be up here. Gundam doing phenomenal in sales. So well that it keeps selling out and people can't get the product. Bandai. And the other thing that really frustrates me, Gundam is run by One Piece. Bandai, same company. Same company. They might be different divisions, different presidents, different CEOs, different people in charge. Are you not talking to each other? Are you not communicating with each other? One Piece went through a 6-month era of such dry stock and frustration with the customers that there wasn't enough being printed. We couldn't play the game. People just wanted the card stock. They went through this headache and they got their numbers and they fixed it. Right now, we're in a decent, outside of this, this is the only exception. They don't do print enough. I will argue with that. But right now, One Piece is killing it when it comes to distribution. We're finally getting enough product on the shelves. We're finally getting enough where the scalpers aren't overpricing these boxes. We're finally getting enough so the players can play their game. They overcame it. Gundam, what are you doing? What are you doing? You have this company literally next door. Hey, we're having problems with printing runs. What number should we run? Oh, this is the formula we used. Oh, thank you. I'll use that formula and I'll print more. Now, I know you said that you didn't understand how the hype for this set was going to be. Lies. Print more. Get us the product. We need it to play the card game. It's number 5 on the market right now, and the demand is still high. You don't have enough out there. People can't play the game. We can't get the game pieces. This is one of the number 1 comments on Twitter I see every time you make a post. I would love to play this game if I could get the game pieces and not have to pay scalpers for them. Not gonna repeat that because I like Gundam. The Cyhunter says, but scarcity creates artificial perception of value. It can, but the only people that benefit from that are scalpers. The only people that benefit from that. And scalpers take away the money and the profits from you as a company. They make it terrible for the game player because they're forcing us to have to pay twice, which honestly creates an artificial barrier for entry for new players. Guys don't understand how card games work. You have to be bringing in new players constantly. People grow out tired of hobbies. They move on to something else. We have a billion things we could be doing. I could be playing video games right now. I could be watching Netflix right now. I could be sitting and taking a nap right now. There are thousands of things I could be doing right now. And I've taken the time to get on here. You've taken your time to see me, talk to you. That's one of the options you have. But people are going to move away from some of their hobbies sometimes. And if you don't have a player base to maintain and keep that player base healthy, you don't have a game. Because if there's nowhere to play it, no one plays it, the game kind of dies. This is what happens to some of these games we're going to talk about in just a minute when we get to this list. So if you have a scalper market where you created the opportunity for scarcity, an opportunity for someone to use a single credit card to buy out the local stock and then jack the price up, anyone who's not willing to pay, which is a lot of people because scalper prices are way too high, but anyone not willing to pay scalper prices doesn't play the game. Thus, you don't get new players, and eventually it can kill your game. Absolutely destroy it. Scalpers don't just ruin it in the fact that they price gate people from being able to get the product, but they price gate it from new players entering the game. Another topic we'll get into in just a minute when we talk about these other card games. But there. Who else is here for Digimon? I wish Sly Hunter. I'm sorry. Digimon made the list. Made the list. So Disney Lorcana, I honestly see this one going down. And the stats here, honestly, after seeing what they've been doing in the card game, they're losing interest. The game is kind of dying in our local area. It's likely biased. If your local area is booming, please tell me in the chat. I'd love to hear it. Hit me up in Discord. I'd love to see where this is going off. Because I know... oh, wow. Weiss Schwartz has been completely wiped off the map. I knew where Weiss Schwartz was being played. Why they separated Pokemon Japan? Maybe because people are buying more Pokemon Japanese versions of the cards to sell. I don't know why they separated the two here. But Digimon card game, congratulations in the 8th spot. Personally, I think Union Arena should be there. It's sad. Union Arena won't be there. And I don't think it'll ever make it onto this list. This is the best-selling trading card games. Right now, Union Arena has the opposite problem to the scalping issue that's happening with Gundam and One Piece. Right now, people are buying massive amounts of these, but are getting capped and said, you can't get more of these unless you buy Union Arena, Digimon, and Dragon Ball. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So this is a relatively new set. It's not even a month old. We're having the opposite problem. So those that don't know how the back end works for buying cards, you go through a distributor. The distributor got it from another company, and there's a lot of taxes in there. But eventually it gets to the local game store. The local game store will pay about $55 per box. At $55 per box, they'll try to sell it at 60, 70, and usually 80 bucks or something like that to try and get their money back based on the product. Because that's how you make profit. You buy a product and you sell it a little bit above what you paid for it in order to make money. That pays for your staff, electricity, toiletries, all the rest of the stuff that goes into running a business. Right now, we have people on the market who are tanking Union Arena because they want this product. And Bondi is saying, if you want this product more, you have to buy this product. Well, they said, well, fine. I'll buy cases of this product to increase my numbers here. So when I get this product, I can sell times 3 and times 3, and I can lose money on Union Arena by selling at a $20 loss. Or $15 loss. $15 loss. So if I lose $15 per pack, but I make 3 times the profit in these departments, because there's artificial scarcity available, I make the game look like it's not being played. Yeah, it's not Japanese. couldn't pay me to play with Kenshin. Yeah, same. Absolutely. Absolutely same. The point that I'm trying to make here, though, is that you're seeing the market look like it's not selling well, while this is what's happening within 15 minutes. Sold out. Now, let me show you guys Digimon. Here it is, Versus. Here it is. So, same event, just so you guys are tracking. Marriott, Orlando. Marriott, Orlando. Hey, I'll click here for registration. I can still get in. I can still get into this event. So you tell me, why is it Union Arena is nowhere on here? It's sold out in minutes. This is now 2 months old, or a month in some days. So you guys get the math, like a month and a half old. It still has people available to buy into the regionals. Yet it, according to Best Selling, is here in 8th place. So, like, it opened about a month ago. So, all right. So, Braindead brought up a good point. I don't know exactly how long it took to sell out. I do know that when we signed up for Texas, this was the same thing that happened. When we sent out the message in Texas to get down to those last chance qualifiers for One Piece filled up pretty fast. It wasn't the fastest. Gundam was the fastest fill up. That thing filled up like that. I went straight to Union Arena first, signed up for Union Arena, got out of the app, thought that the order would work out well in my favor. As soon as I was out of the app, Gundam was sold out. Went into the last chance qualifiers, got into the last chance qualifiers. As soon as I got registered for last chance qualifiers, the last chance qualifiers were sold out. Yeah, like 5,000. There was a lot of people, like 3,000 people. 3,000 people. So those 3 IPs sold out like that. Digimon and Dragon Ball Z were sitting on the shelf. And they were until the day of when we were there. Still available to play some Digimon events, not all of them, but some of them. Dragon Ball was open throughout the entire weekend with empty spots available to play. Using that same logic, that same occurrence, and now seeing this, I am causation trying to do comparable for you to show you that the likelihood is that this sold out in minutes. But even said that people might have been applying to UEA for the competitor badge just to get in the retail area. It's sold out again. You told me it's a month and a half ago. Same thing. Same thing, Braindead. Still available to pick up. You could still at this date get into this regional. Same thing. There is a possibility that, yeah, people got in for those tickets, but this isn't a Bondi Card Fest. This isn't the big event. This is just a regional event with these 3 card games. This sold out completely. Chainlil says you also don't know what the cap is for each. They might be a very player depending on how popular they think it will be. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I'm talking about Dallas. Yes, I know you're talking about Dallas. I'm saying your argument here is that everyone in Dallas, or a large majority, bought the Union Arena ticket to get into the event. While there were still available tickets for the other 2. There were still available tickets for Dragon Ball. There's still available tickets for Digimon. But there could have been people that got into Union Arena, could have, just to get into the event. However, there were still available tickets for you to get into the event leading up to the very day of the event. There were still non-waitlisted seats available. So if that was the case, why wouldn't they just go into the ones that were just easily available? It could have been. I'm not saying it was not the case, because we had enough seating for 700 and only 350 people participated. But we don't know what happened. We don't know what caused that issue to occur. We don't know if it was because people were flustered because the events weren't firing, the side events weren't firing, people weren't getting into events. They didn't have they took away a lot of the prize support. The vending area sold out in the first hour both days, and there was nothing to get by the time you got in line. I don't know what caused the 700 person event to drop down to 350. I don't know, but I am hearing from the last regionals in California they maxed out seating, and I have been hearing from this one they maxed out. And Jane Lowe is correct. We don't know how many people are getting in if they made this one bigger. Only attending the event could I actually tell you, but I'm not going down there because my game is sold out. And same thing with Gundam. That's Union Arena. You got enough of those. But Gundam sold out as well. Lonely, good to see you. So, my argument, if you will, is that Union Arena would be up here if we didn't have the opposite scalping issue occurring because people are dumping this product on the shelf to get more to scalp the products. I think honestly, once these two get their selling right and they get enough product on the shelf, Union Arena will stop being pushed like this, and it's going to be a top contender. Because, in my opinion, it has a bigger drive than this. Bias, obviously, in this local area, it's an easy determination. But given I was in Dallas and saw the participation for it, I know it's a lot higher than Dragon Ball. I know it's a lot higher. I know that it has a very strong player base and is getting stronger by the IP, by each IP they're releasing. So I sincerely think Union Arena needs to be up the top here. Star Lowers Unlimited really needs to work on their value. There's zero value in these cards. These feel really bad to buy. Like, everything's cents. And they have premium product too. It just cents on it. And Flesh and Blood, it has an opposite problem. They have a high ceiling, but that's... I don't know how to explain this one. Flesh and Blood just has a really high bar to entry. Most of the cards you need are really old. They're extremely expensive. Most decks are like Magic the Gathering expensive to get into it. There are some leaders that have been trying to make some leeway to get in the standard format to help out, but there's still cards that are just uniform good across the board that people like to play, that you just are very, very expensive to get your hands on. So I'd say Flesh and Blood's biggest issue they're having right now is that they don't have a cheap alternative to help people get into the card game, because some of the boxes, like if you want to get some of the first edition boxes of Flesh and Blood, they're going for thousands of dollars. Yeah, these are some of the prices I'm talking about. A lot of these older sets that a lot of people like to get, extremely expensive to get your hands on. This game isn't even like 4 years old. I feel like it hasn't been more than 5-6 years. Like 2019, I want to say. Yeah, there's each one of these card games has their own problems, and we're not done talking about it yet because there's a lot more to discuss in this area. We have the ban list that I want to talk about when we come back from a quick break. There's some other things I want to tell you guys about what's going on in the TCG Wars, and let you guys know that right now you're in a market that you can benefit from, because each one of these card games is vying for your attention. And at the end of the day, what games are going to survive this war is entirely up to you. Every one of you at home, whatever you play, whatever you invest in, whatever you get into, it's going to be entirely on you if it survives these TCG Wars. Because right now, I'm seeing a very similar thing that happened back in 2009, 2000s, when I was playing the TCGs back then, and Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! Was just coming off the shop. Pokemon was doing some stuff, and we had so many card games you guys have never even heard of. Thousands of card games have been created. And this has happened just about 20 years ago. And only really 3 or 4 of them survived. So I'm really looking forward to seeing in the current market where more and more games are getting flooded. Alpha Clash is coming in as an indie. If you guys look on those GoFundMe pages and the Fivers and whatnot, you're going to see a lot of new of those independent card games that are seeing a lot of attention. And you have a lot of new games coming out from Disney and big brands that are trying to flood the market with more TCGs, because as a consumer, people are moving to owning your own product. It's a logical move, in my opinion. In an age where everything's trying to go digital and trying to get you to stop owning anything you own, the public will often reject it and say, I want something that I can keep, I can tangibly have. Because something digital is meaningless and worthless. And you're not going to trick me into NFTs again. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I've got more to cover for this one. We got the Pirates Championship coming up soon. We'll do the coverage for that, interviews, and of course, pack giveaways. Stay tuned. I got to get hydrated because I've been doing this solo and get myself a quick break. I'll be right back.
Must be you. Cinderella, will you be there? Cinderella boy, I love you. Kimiko, you be naked. Doll Kimiko, could it be a destiny? Honestly, a mystery. Must be you. Gotta be you. Must be you. Cinderella boy, I love you. Cinderella, will you be there? Gotta be you.
And welcome back to Humble Pie. I'm your host, Jimmy D, and we're going to continue on this conversation of the TCG Wars that have been going on. I love the feedback in the chat. Keep it up. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for joining us. We will be getting the Pirate Championship after the next break. I'll be going into the final round where we're going to showcase who won our Pirate Championship, which is a side event. For those that don't just came in and didn't see the comments before, I don't have Ocean Man with me. I couldn't get Marcus with me, so without the new co-host, and because these are kind of like a flagship thing for the channel, it being the finals after the accumulation, of now 12 weeks of work put in by these players. We had two different cups. We had the Championship Cup that played for the manga. That one will be a week from today. I'll be covering that live here in the studio with Ocean Man because he'll be able to be free. I unfortunately got called into work on this Veterans Night, Veterans Day week, I guess. So sadly, I wasn't able to do the coverage with him today, and that was going to be our formula. I spent hours preparing for that, trying to get it ready to go, but all the preparation in the world doesn't prepare you for what life can throw at you. And if anything, I'm blessed that I have the people around me that help me get through a lot of the stressful times and a lot of the things that happen in the background that you guys never see, and I don't even need to introduce you. Just know that I'm happy to be here, I'm happy to run the events, and I'm happy to keep these things coming for you, and I'm hoping after a few successes we can open these tournaments up to even more TCGs and open these up to other players as well for those that might not be able to make it out to Virginia, because a lot of these tournaments I think especially when it comes to Bondi, there's not enough tournaments, there's not enough play out there, not enough high level play in places for people to go, which goes back to the argument I was making before the break. You need to stop capping and you need to start hosting more of these events and allowing people to come to these events. There's too many players that are just looking and itching for an opportunity. And while we're in the middle of TCG Wars, which, trust me, it's happening right now. The market is being absolutely flooded with individuals coming in from all over the place. We got new card games coming out. We're going to talk about some of those new card games. And we have a lot of new competitors that are trying to go for the crown, especially when one of them happens to be stifling. The number one Magic the Gathering is going through a lot of hiccups. And that's going to be the first topic we're going to talk about today. For those that don't know, Magic the Gathering just had a ban list. And we're going to go over that ban list real quick because everybody else is doing that content. So why not me? Why can't I make a simple YouTube video and edit that and throw it out there and tell you guys my thoughts on the ban list and what's happening with Magic the Gathering? I'll cut that into a little tangent and throw it on my main channel. Before I do, Tazidis says, I was almost ready to jump into Riftbound, but at the locals this week was a release of Riftbound, and at the same time, some of them reminded me why I quit playing League because, oh wow, it was that bad? I was a little nervous about that, to be honest with you. And that will be one of the topics I'll bring up. Thank you for that comment. I was a little nervous. Our group in the locals wasn't that bad because I am a League player myself in the back and way back when Ash was actually good. But I am a League player, but I could, as an adult, I couldn't play it as much as you need to be good at it. And there was enough of me trying my best to play League of Legends, but I was just getting smack talked over left and right. They're right, I was bad at the game, but I also wasn't chasing for a freaking esports contract. I was just trying to play the game. So, but I was getting trashed on and getting ridiculed. So the only time I played is if I had a good group of friends, and that was always more difficult to get a group of people that just wanted to casually sit back and play the game. Because I think it's a fun game. I just think that there's a lot of tryhards in there that really ruin it. And I really thought the digital side was what caused all that. But if they're doing it in real person too, that's really sad, Tazzy. It's really sad. Uchiha says, when I get home tonight, I'm gonna get my sonar practice in for the Union Arena sim. Nice. I'm getting closer to cracking some codes here. Good, good. I'm glad. I'm really glad you're improving your game. So it's clearly shown even on the camera that we have some gameplay going into straight to YouTube content soon here. Because this weekend we couldn't record the Union Arena live. I'll be talking over it. And since Veterans Day is tomorrow, I've got the day off. I'll be making YouTube videos. I'll be trying to get a lot of content out there for Riftbound that we recorded, Union Arena that we recorded, some box openings I want to put out, publish for you guys, and some deck techs I want to put out. So all day tomorrow, I'll be doing a lot of different YouTube videos and getting those things out for my other channels as I am getting better and better at editing. It's not great. I'm not saying I even deserve any kind of trophies, because I still feel like there's a lot more I could be doing, but I'm getting better at it. So I'm going to start giving you guys more content that way. So if you guys want to get into my YouTube channels, hit subscribe, help me grow those channels, help me get some 500 subscribers so I can start getting paid by YouTube for the advertisements they run on me. But if you guys could help me out in those channels, please help me out. We do have a YouTube channel for Riftbound. It's called Humbro Pie RB. We have Union Arena, Humbro Pie UA. Are you guys catching on? I'm currently live on Humbro Pie OP. One Piece. Humbro Pie is the Magic channel, and that one was supposed to be dedicated to Dual Commander, but we've had our issues with that. That's something maybe I'll get into in just a minute. And we have one for what's it? Fab, Flesh and Blood. So Union Arena, I'm sorry, Humbro Pie FAB, Fab. So we have a channel dedicated to each one of those card games. If you guys are interested in that content, we go live a lot with those channels. The only one I would say that you're not going to see any live content from is Riftbound, and that's scheduling. There's just no way for me to go live with that. Not to mention, it's, I don't know. I think the edited content just works better for Riftbound, personally. Tazzy says, yeah, I know I suck, but I like being competitive. Same, bro. I mean, yeah, I'm bad at the game. I want to get good at it. It took me months to learn Ash. It just in the play style that I'd play for Shyvana was insanely difficult to get up there, but that was the basics for me, just to be able to play the characters I liked. But getting into Riftbound or League of Legends was really difficult because it's just a very toxic community. Uchiha says, turns out Zenitsu is actually good Demon Slayer deck. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's just underappreciated. I digress. Let's get ourselves into the TCG Wars and my next topic, which happens to be the ban list. Let's get into it. All right, starting off here. Those that don't know, Magic the Gathering just did a ban list to help fix Standard, something that they've been trying to push down our throats for the last year and a half, as they've been keeping all the competitive play in Standard. If you guys have been a member of this channel for a while, you know I've made several complaints and given you guys stories of how this card right here in particular had ruined the format, and it ruined Standard so badly that people were playing in competitive events purely for the permission to not need to play the format anymore. Like they were in there to get their competitive badge. They wanted to get their invite to the regionals because the regional qualifiers that the LGSs are holding, and people were playing in them simply to not have to play this game anymore. They were just tired of this format. Nobody liked it. If you didn't run VV Cauldron deck, you were running the mono red deck because the mono red deck could get underneath it, and these were the only two decks in the format. These two cards right here were the prime example of what was taking over in Standard, making it virtually unplayable. We have seen a continual downgrade in attendance for all of our formats in Magic the Gathering. We have seen people get out of drafting because of the Spider-Man set. We have seen people get out of the Standard on Wednesdays for the showdowns, where those who don't know, they created this really cool thing called Showdown. You get these really cool promos. Some of them were like Cowboy Bebop themed. I got my place out of those. but they had really cool promos you'd get if you played the standard showdowns. Problem is, we can't fire these standard showdowns because no one's showing up to play them because no one wants to play standard. The game was dying to a degree for a lot of reasons. Not just because the format was sucky, it was the primary reason why people don't want to play it. We, as a store, banned VV outright because we thought for sure there was no way with the Christmas bundle coming out soon. Next month, they've got their special edition. This is what I believe what this art is. The special edition bundle that's coming out for Final Fantasy that's going to showcase VV in the bundle. And they're going to be selling these things for hundreds of dollars for this bundle to get it. And now VV, the most expensive card in the set, is now been banned. We didn't think it was going to happen. I think it was a good choice. I think, yes, finally, you got rid of the problem card. The thing that scared me the most coming into this was they're going to ban Cauldron, a card that was good, but not unstoppable, and has answers, and is a 2-mana play, where you have plenty of answers to Cauldron, but there's not a whole lot of answers you have to these VV cards that help you play around, especially when there's another ban card they didn't pay attention to called Into the Floodmaw, which was the reason why this deck was so OP. Into the Floodmaw was the guarantee that even if they had answers to your Cauldron or the VV, you had answers to their answers, and it was in your main deck for 1 mana. 1 blue mana, and you could protect your cards or even, get around other people playing the deck. But it was so ridiculously dumb in a 2-deck format that no one wanted to play this game for good reasons. Uchiha says, Magic got ban list, huh? This is going to shake up the game like the dice in the Yahtzee Cup. That's a good line. I like that. So, yeah, it is going to shake up the game. It is going to start allowing for people to do some more creativity with deck lists. The problem is, I'm wondering, is this too late? I'm not saying that Magic's going to die. It's always been number one. It's survived many years. It's had a lot of sets that didn't sell, had a lot of things. So this issue we're having with the Spider-Man set, primarily based on the fact that the draft is unfun. The cards were 108 compared to usually 360. And what cards get released, some of the cards aren't on the arena because they had to change the art for it. The mechanics weren't really shaking up the tournament play whatsoever. It was kind of like a small set that they were selling at a premium price. And a lot of people got really mad at how they were selling these premium products with half of the number of cards that normally come into it. Now, understand that most boxes go for about 120, 140, which is still pretty expensive for card games. But when they got in the premium, i.e. Final Fantasy and Spider-Man, they were going for $210 per box. And if you wanted to get the collector booster, which usually runs for about $350 per set, it was running for $1,000. And even Spider-Man initially was going for $1,000. But then when people said, wait a minute, there's 1/3 of the cards in this set. Why am I still paying that price for 1/3 of the different cards in the set? I'm not going to spend that kind of money. So the box is tanked, and they've been going down and down and down, and almost settling down closer to the actual premium set pricing for some of these boxes. I know as a store, LifeLink has had to sell their packs at the normal price. They don't sell them at the premium prices for Spider-Man because they don't move. They can't move them. The set has been causing a lot of problems because they came out with another one of these smaller sets, tried to sell it as a complete set, and then tried putting a premium price on it. And everyone was like, no, I'm not paying premium pricing for 1/3 the product and a crappy little draft format. And that's what's been killing the draft side. But these two cards particularly, yeah, I'm happy. I'm glad that these are gone. These cards were overpowered. Prof's Eidetic Memory. Honestly, I saw this card always put in work. There's answers to it. I don't see the line in the article. If you guys read through this, they talk about how this is similar to Up the Beanstalk, which is a green card that said anytime you played a 5-cost or more spell, you would get to draw a card. It had its problems. There was a lot of ways to cheat out cards like that. A lot of draw power that came into it. And I'm okay with this leaving. It really wasn't that much of an impact. It had a lot of impact with VV, I'll tell you that. This card in the VV deck was really annoying. But as a card overall, I don't know, I thought this was fine. There's plenty of answers to it. It's not that powerful if you can get underneath your opponent. But I can see why they got rid of it, and it's mostly because it was an engine to help the VV, and they were afraid this was going to take over. So as far as the standard ban list, good. I'm glad. Is it enough? No. What are we going to see in the format? I don't know. Who's left to play it? Magic, you killed your audience for this. And you're still killing it. And you're still going to be killing it with what I'm going to talk about next. Like, I'm excited that we're finally getting into a better format after these bans. But have you put such a bad taste in the mouth along with all these these TCGs entering the market to say, why bother? You have Union Arena that's selling dirt cheap right now and is still really fun and competitive and selling out for their competitive seasons. You have a lot of people growing interest in it because they can play their favorite IP and enjoy a card game that's virtually inexpensive and has decent turnaround cards with valuable cards inside them. You've got One Piece, which is doing a phenomenal job of making sure that the game pieces are affordable and they have priceable cards that are going for thousands of dollars and hundreds of dollars. And they're doing it without making it so necessary game pieces are the ones that are expensive that way. You can play without it because they do alt arts properly. You don't. You make these cards right here, even at their base art, $100, which is unheard of for some games. That's a lot. It's a lot to take in. So, did they fix it? Let's hope. Time will tell. I know Magic's going to be in a rough year and a half to come because of the way that they're releasing these sets, and these premium products are really starting to annoy people because you're price gating them out of the game. You are by far the most expensive TCG to get involved with if you're not dealing with scalpers and the Pokemon bracket, which we have our own ways to get around scalpers. But if you're dealing with scalpers, not dealing with scalpers, this is the most expensive card game around, and you're not selling us sets that you can play out the box. You're not selling us stuff that we can build decks around. You're selling us bits and pieces that are hard to get with hard chase pieces like this VV, or it's going for $100 a piece, and really made the formats unfun and unplayable. So even though it was $100, people didn't even want to buy into it because it was solitaire. If anyone had to play against this game, it was miserable. That's why people hate. Let's see, Gundam doesn't have this yet, thank God. And Union Arena doesn't have this yet, but I do know that Nami and Anel and One Piece have this problem. People don't like an opponent who's playing solitaire, who's not really interacting with you in the game. They're just playing their own game, and they're like, all right, I'll just keep playing my cards. And this is what Vivi was. Vivi didn't play against the opponent. It just played itself and would have 15, 20-minute turns that were just ungodly boring to watch and ungodly boring to play. Finally, this is out of the format. Will it correct it? Time will tell. Pioneer. Let's see. Dev says, feel that way about Blackbeard sometimes as well. Yeah, I can see that with Blackbeard as well. Blackbeard definitely feels like you're not really doing much interaction. You're just trying to play up to the 10 cost. And you're really not playing any back and forth. And games like that are really boring. And people, when those kind of decks take over, thank God they didn't. We've got other ways around it. There's other cards. Shoot, the power creep in One Piece has really prevented those two from taking off. And the ban list was correcting that the Nami plays. But though no one wants to watch their opponent play the game for 15 minutes. You got to have something that kind of regulates that and prevents your opponent from having these 15, 20-minute turns. It's incredibly boring. No one has the attention span for this, especially in today's day and age. But those are when formats go to die. Next up, we got Pioneer, which is hilarious that we're even talking about this. Heartfelt Hero and Pioneer. Pioneer hasn't received support in 2-3 years. They fixed the format. It was going great. Everyone was saying this is the greatest format ever, and they just stopped having it. Like Taco Bell and a really good thing on the menu. Hey, that stuff's pretty good. Take it off the menu. As soon as it was good, they just no longer supported any more competitive play for it. So Pioneer got a ban. Congratulations. These should be on the ban as well, because anyone who's played Pioneer as long as I have realizes that Standard is now overcrept the power of Pioneer. You can play a Standard deck in Pioneer, and it's more powerful than what's in Pioneer. So the only reason we're not seeing these two banned in Pioneer is because no one's playing it because you don't support it. You've done nothing to support this format. So seeing Heartfelt Hero, yeah, it was a problem child in Standard. It doesn't surprise me it's been banned. It needs to be banned. This card was busted. I played with this forever. Like it would win a game in 2 turns. That's the other issue. You get the decks that like you have the ones where your opponent's playing solitaire against you, and you have the other one where you sit down and you're like, hey, my name is, and I lost. Okay, well, next game. Yeah, as I was saying, my name is, oh, I lost again. Well, nice playing you. Have a good day. Hope your tournament run is pretty good. I will see you later in 45 minutes after the round, and you guys went and got food and tea and, you know, hit 18 holes in the golf course and finally came back for the next round. But Heartfelt Hero was like a 2-turn win con. It was insane, and it still is. And especially with what's in Pioneer, it's even more devastating. So, sure, Heartfelt Hero got hit, whatever. You're not going to get a whole lot of opinions from people when you don't support the format that was arguably one of the best ones you had, especially at the time when you really fixed Pioneer for what you did. Modern, no changes, no surprise, because we haven't had any big tournaments with Modern, so not a lot of change up. In Legacy, it's about effing time. Bro. This is weird art. Okay, this is the new set coming out. Entomb Reanimator has been the deck in Legacy for like 2 years. 2 years. You've done almost nothing to ban this thing. This has been the top deck with the most wins. The most boring deck to play against sometimes because it's a turn 2 win. I put out Gristlebrand and win. Like, you could do it on turn 1 if you had a good enough hand. This is, like, okay, you finally addressed Legacy with Entomb. Okay. And Nadu was a mistake from the get-go. This card should have been banned, like, on release before it even hit the shelves. It was built for Commander in Modern Horizons 3. It ruined Modern for a very long time. Got a lot of people to stop playing it because it was just like VV. It created a solitaire-based deck with an undetermined loop that could fizzle and forced your opponent to watch them play the game for 15 minutes. And in Legacy, it was doing the same thing, but more efficiently, and it still could fizzle. So it was still a deck that was just watching your opponent play solitaire. Why it took them this long to ban it in Legacy, the only reason I'd say is because they don't support Legacy. They don't do anything with it, and I think they want Legacy and Vintage, personally, I think they want these two to disappear so they can finally print the cards from their reserve list and make money off the reserve list. Something I honestly see them doing eventually, especially when things get rough. Here, come to the future. Pauper, again, another card that created an infinite loop. Until end of turn, whenever a player taps an island or mana, that player adds 1 blue to his mana pool. This just created a lot of like infinites and Pauper. Very, very boring to play. Usually would lead to nothing but a decent board state, if anything at all. And the opponent's deck would fizzle, and they would pass a turn after having watched your opponent do this with their cards a billion times. Good ban. We host Pauper on Fridays at LifeLink Games. I think the Pauper people will be happy the High Tide's been canceled, but I don't think many people are playing it, to be honest with you, because it's a very boring deck. It doesn't have a determined win con. So, okay. Cool. Congratulations. You got a High Tide out of the format. Good. Pauper seems to be doing pretty well. It's the only 60-card format we seem to be able to fire at LifeLink Games. So, good on you for at least keeping your eyes on this one. Historic, this is all... this is the arena thing that I don't support. It's digital crap. Brawl's digital crap. These should have never been in Brawl in the first place. Anybody who knows what these cards do. Strip mine, sacrifice, destroy target land. Target land, not basic, target land. Like it doesn't mitigate. Like you could basically play decks that prevent your opponent from ever having any mana. Really super fun to play against. Mana Drain, just a really good counter spell that just is OP as all get out. Chrome Mox, obviously, fast mana, fast stuff. This is why it's banned in Dual Commander. That's why I like Dual Commander, because its nonsense is not in it. In Ancient Tomb, just taps for 2. So just more fast mana. Fast mana and destroy mana. Like these games are quick, not fun. I don't know why they were in Brawl in the first place. To be honest with you, it should have been banned immediately. But all of this is just digital crap. And I'm sure I made Magic the Gathering's list because they're like, why are you calling it digital crap? Because you're trying to sell me the same cards as a pack value with less cards in it and trying to tell me that it's the same game. It's digital crap. I don't own it. I can't trade it. I can't do anything with it. And my account, if I want to sell it, it's worth $30. After spending $18,000 on your cards to keep up with your ridiculous release schedule, I have spent a lot of money to try and play the game on your arena, and it's worthless. The product is worthless. I can't sell it. It's not. I don't own anything. It's all digital art. And the minute you turn down the servers, I lose everything. It's crap. All right, let's get into an idea of like what's been going on with Magic and the Magic Wars. All right, the TCG Wars. Magic this year, we had 6 release sets. We had Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, and now we know that this is Avatar the Airbender. Remember correctly, yeah, it just did come in the middle. So, out of the year, we had 6 sets printed directly straight to standard. This one at 140, this one at 140, this one at 140, 210 plus, 210 plus, 210 plus. You have 3 premium sets out of 3 regular sets. Affordable, virtually, not easy, but affordable. Not affordable. 3 sets. The community complained. We said, stop printing so much. We can't keep up. We don't have enough time to play with the products before the next one comes out. The minute the set releases, you're already talking about spoilers for this one. When this released, you were talking about spoilers for this one. When this one released, you're talking about spoilers for this one. Like, as soon as the release weekend, which is coming up here in a week or so, for Avatar, they're going to be talking about the next set with Laura 1 Eclipsed. These things are coming out so fast, no one has time to build anything. No one has time to even play with your cards. No one knows what the meta's going to look like. We can't enjoy anything. These month-and-a-half turnarounds are absolutely insane. We said, please stop printing so much and stop putting so many premium sets in the air. And you said, I got you, fam. Here's 7 sets next year with 1, 2, 3, 4 premium products. 4 out of 7 releases next year. 210 plus, 210 plus, 210 plus, probably 310, 300 plus. This is going to be a crap set. Whatever. But 210 plus. Or tank. Who knows? With 3 sets in universe to Magic the Gathering. With very little time between each one of these sets. We asked you to slow down, and you sped up. And I know that there's a lot of talk about we made these deals years ago and we couldn't schedule them right, and we had the deals and we had to fire the contracts based on the, like, bro, whoever's doing your contract writing needs to talk to someone who understands the reality of people's wallets, because whatever schedule and whatever contracts, I don't care, that's on you. You were the one that made the terms, you were the one that negotiated, you were the one that did the piss poor pre-planning. You, not us. And don't get mad at us. And don't give us questions with, are you out of money to buy TCG cards? Yes, yours specifically. Yours specifically. Because you have 4 out of 7 sets next week are going to be premium freaking products. Remember when I was telling you guys to get people into a game? You couldn't have a barrier of entry? Fab's biggest issue is its barrier to entry because of how expensive the card game is. You put me straight to standard. No person is going to come into standard wanting to play these things, knowing that none of these sets are even buildable for competitive decks. I brought up in front of me a deck that I built back when we used to have good sets being printed. In universe sets. This set is called Ixalan. In this deck, we had these really cool dinosaurs. And when Standard was playable back then, I could build a deck with all these really cool alt arts. All of these cards are from Ixalan, by the way. Every single one of these are from Ixalan. It's a dino deck. This deck was extremely competitive in Standard, because the power creep was low enough that I could play with all the cards within the set, and I could play the deck. All of these cards that you're seeing in front of you came from the same set. And I built a deck that got me a lot of wins in the Standard. A lot of wins in Standard. I like this deck so much that I got all the alt arts. I all the really cool cards that I really wanted from it, and I was like, hey, I want to buy all the cards. I want to get all these cards so I can play this deck completely faulted, alt-arted, and all these really cool like dinosaur cards, and I love dinos, and I love playing this deck, and it's a good deck in standard. And this thing cost me like $100, even with all the alts. It cost me like $100. Easy entry, competitive, won games, not all of them, but it won games. It got me a couple of tournament wins, got me some extra packs. It was doing really well. I actually really love this deck. But that deck was all in one set. Since Ixalan, actually, let's go back. Yeah, since Ixalan, we haven't seen a single set come out where there was a archetype that was in the set that you could make a 60 card deck from and be viable and competitive in the format. You have so many cards that are just so overpowered in certain colors in every other set that it's near impossible for a person to pick up a set of Ixalan and build a deck directly from it. In one piece, if I want to build Emu, I buy OP13. If I want to build Roger, I buy OP13. If I want to buy and build Rornor Zoro, I buy OP12. If I want to get in a starter deck or something like that to help get the upgrades, that's cool. Gives me a great starting line. The starter decks are fantastic. If I want to get into Gundam and I want to build G-Quicks, 2 starter decks, a couple extra cards, deck's good. I want to get into Union Arena, 2 starter decks, a couple extra cards, good to go. For 1 box of Magic the Gathering's premium products, I could buy 3 Union Arena boxes, even more if I buy from those other scalpers, 3 Union Arena boxes, and build every single deck that's 2 per color that come out in every single one of these sets. For the price of 1 of your booster boxes, where I can't even build a deck unless it's Commander, and even then it's a bad Commander deck. I can't build 1 deck out of 1 box for $210. If I bought a case, I still can't build a single deck from that set because there's nothing in that set that helps me build a 60 card deck that's competitive and fun to play. There are archetypes, there are really cool cards in there, but nothing standalone inside that set like you used to do when we had Ixalan. Back in the day when new sets would come out, Dominaria, Phyrexia, all those decks you could play. What was it? Poison came back, and it was all those cards were in the same set. You want to play in standard? Cool. Buy that set. There you go. Maybe a few pieces outside. Maybe those pieces were easy to get. Very easy. Sometimes just to power it up a little bit. But I could build a deck from that set that I bought. Curly says, "How is that supposed to be playable?" Like, what do you mean, Curly? I mean, you're talking about my deck right here. It's like in standard basics, we're the mana base. Now it's Shocklands and $40 land, tap land here, and you got to have this fast land, or you got to have this over here. But what do you mean by that? Are you trying to say? Are you reinforcing what I'm saying, that you're not printing sets that allow people to get into your game and build decks from them and play your game, like One Piece, like Union Arena, like Gundam, like even Riftbound right now? Not even getting enough cards in a case to build a deck? Yeah. It's unfeasible. That's what he means. Curly says, not even get enough cards in a case. Yeah. It's unattainable. And it's actually a problem that we're seeing with Riftbound, which is the next card game we're going to talk about right now. All right, in Riftbound, new card game out there. Everyone's super excited. Tazzy was in the chat. People talking about this card game. Man, was this going to be great. It is great. This game is fun. Very easy to learn. Absolutely outstanding. However, it's had some hiccups. We had 30 cards errata on release, which was insane. A lot of drama, a lot of people talking about it. A lot of new ways and functionality the cards work. Good news for collectors. Erratas mean after they do another print run, if the errata is changed on the new cards, That means we officially have a first edition set. That's huge. For those that understand One Piece and the blue bottom, well, how do I know it's a blue bottom? Well, I can check the bottom, but how do I know the cards are accurate? There's cards in it that need to be errated. So the only way to get those cards with the old text on them is through the blue bottom, which are highly desired cards. People want to get those original first printings because there was no first edition one in One Piece. Never has been. All the Bandai games I've been tracking so far don't have first edition, second edition, or unlimited or whatever. So good news if you're a collector out there and the next wave does print with the text errated as it's supposed to be. That means there is essentially a first edition set. So that's good news for collectors. For other people out there, they said, oh, this is bad news as a company. If you had to fix 30 cards, you're not paying close enough attention, you're not doing enough. I'm with you. Okay. Sure. This is a big mistake. But I'm also a huge proponent of allow everybody at least one. I think what's more important is not the mistake that was made, but how it's responded to. We haven't seen anything from Riftbound yet to say that they're going to keep making these mistakes because it's the first set. We haven't seen a pattern or a history of them doing bad stuff. There's nothing really to judge. It's now incumbent on Riot Games to fix the problem, fix the errata, make sure that when you're releasing sets that you've fully analyzed it and you got the verbiage correct, get the QA/QC team on high alert, make sure they don't make the mistake again, and come the next set in February. If there is no issue, that tells me a lot about Riot Games. They're willing to fix their mistakes. When we were talking about the problems we're having with Magic, we asked them for help and they doubled down on the problem. If Riot Games can fix the problem and going forward not have errata issues and have good quality cards, and there's another thing we're going to get into in just a minute with this card game, they can fix it. I think they deserve and warrant our attention, because that shows you that this is a card game willing to pivot, willing to make changes. One Piece has already demonstrated that for the player base. They're willing to make corrections where necessary to ensure that cards don't get too pricey, where decks get online, they make the bans fat at a decent pace. Heck, we've been so spoiled in the West, we didn't even have to deal with toxic metas because they fixed them before they even got over here. They were testing them out in Japan, saw that the meta was toxic, and banned it outright. Didn't care what it did to the price of the cards. They don't care because it's about the fun of the game. So, as outside of printing issues, I'd say the Bandai's been doing a fantastic job representing their company to fix the issues that came through. And since this is their first big card game, I'm going to let them pass on this one. Let them make mistakes. It's okay. I make mistakes all the time. I'm trying to do this channel right. I'm trying to grow it. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. But if I keep making the same mistake and keep making the problem over and over again, I'm going to lose the trust of my audience. I got to fix it. I got to take it seriously. And I like that you would all afford me the same courtesy that I try to afford others, that if it's a mistake one time, I'll try to see you get through it. And if you correct the behavior, cool, we can move on. And if you don't, I'm going to go see other people. And that's what's going to happen to people in this card game. They're going to go see other games and go other places. So, yes, is this a problem? Kind of. I think it's good news personally. A lot of, especially for collectors. People that got their hands on this first set, in this first wave. Super excited. There is another issue with shipping I want to talk about. I don't really have an article for it, but a lot of people who ordered directly from Riot Games have still not received the product and still waiting for the product. It's not good. You need to get the product out to these people. They want to play the game. They need the product. You're a brand new card game. I'm willing to let it pass. I'm also not waiting for product, so don't take my opinion for that much weight. I was lucky enough to have a LGS that filled out the paperwork properly, that did everything else right, and got us a substantial amount of product. We thought it was going to be enough to hold the shelf. It wasn't. It was actually not enough. We need more. But they were willing to give us exactly what we ordered, which was huge. So the mistake really wasn't even on Riot Games that we didn't have enough. It was on our mistake for not buying more because we didn't know the demand was going to be this high. So as far as the card game goes, demand being high, good. Player base, good. You made some mistakes. Those two. I'd say the biggest one that I'm most concerned about is the flakiness. you've got to work with your company. These are ungradable. These look like they were cut with a pair of scissors, and not sharp ones in particular either. This is a problem in a lot of the packs, if not all of the packs. Grading these cards is going to be a nightmare. Your signature cards coming like this are very depressing. Guys, these signature cards are going for thousands of dollars. I don't want to see this on my $1,000 card. So, if you could, and you're actually paying attention to me, Ripbound, Riot Games, please fix this. This is not good for a card game. It looks cheap. It looks like he went to the lowest buyer, lowest bidder, and you've got the product out, but it's a very cheap quality. Something I would not see in any Bondi game, to be honest with you. Another thing I love about Bondi, the card stock is phenomenal. You can't send these things into PSA or the rest of them and not get a 10 on most cases, so long as you just took it from the pack and put it into some case. Like, the cards are coming out pristine. Very rarely will you see them bent up. That's usually because of the way the way they open it or something like that. But most of the cards that come out for Bondi, great condition. Ripbound, you gotta fix this. This is crap. No one wants to see this, especially in your foils. This is a premium card, $60. Look at that. There's a premium alt art rune, $60. It's probably dropped now. FOMO is about to die off, so finally the prices will get to a reasonable price. But that's gross. So, as far as Riftbound is concerned, honestly, you got a lot to learn. You got a lot of things you got to fix. You're coming in a good market time. Magic the Gathering is slipping. They're not paying attention. They got too greedy, and they got too in their high ceiling. They just were breathing in little oxygen and not thinking right. They're falling off their pedestal. They're making a lot of mistakes. They're not improving their card quality. They're printing too much. Their products are too expensive. They're not designing the sets well. There's a lot of things that you can capitalize on. And I think the fourth and final thing that I would say the problem with this set is your ratios are very bad. When I had to buy 4 cases to get a play set of a staple card for my champion, that's not feasible. 4 cases is a lot of money. And when we can't get our hands on the product, which right now we're having issues with, a lot of people can't play your card game. In future sets, please make sure that when you print a new set, the deck can be playable out of at least a case. You can get a deck of something in a case. At least a hero or champion. Not out of 4 cases to play 1 champion. That's bad. That's terrible. Figure it out. Do what you got to do when you're printing to sell a case and make sure that champion's covered for that case or something to help people be able to build the decks they want to build so they can play the game. And if you can fix those 4 things, you can be a real contender in the top, because the shakeup's still out there, the player base is still out there, and like I said before, you at home will be the determining factor of who survives this recent TCG Wars. All right, that's all I want to say for these. It's a lot. Thank you for listening to my soapbox for the last 2 hours. Jeez. I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to get into the Pirates Championship. I got a really cool special prize I want to show you guys, too, of a really cool thing that happened at the store. And I got some packs to give away. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. And that's going to do it for this round. If you've been here this long, hit the like and subscribe button. Help us out. We're a growing channel and just trying to get out as many TCGs and coverage for you guys at home. Brought to you mostly by the people you're seeing scroll over here, my Patreons. The ones that help me fund and do everything I can to try to expand this channel to cover multitudes of different TCGs that you are seeing here. You like the one you're watching now? That's great. We also have other things that you might like, from a broad spectrum of the Bondi to the new League of Legends, Riftbound games, and other independents like Alpha Clash. We like to cover as many games here, and I love all these TCGs. Most of the time I take part in. If you guys are liking this content, though, Please help us grow, help us get into the point where we can improve our quality of content for you and get to the point where you guys really get the product that you deserve. Thank you for being here as always. This is going to be it for today. I hope to see you in the next video. That might be listed up here. I don't know, editor, can you help me out?